There's one. There's the other.
And we are live. What's up, everybody? Welcome to a very special episode of this Black Friday to Earth. I'm your host, Solomon. You see the name right there. It's right there in your face holes. And over this way, my compadre es mi hermano es Spider.
Yep,
Another Queda.
that's right. Here we are for
Yeah.
another fantastic year. Actually, we're getting close to the end of the year.
End of the year. We're gonna have to have an end of the year apocalypse episode because it's finna be the apocalypse. Not the X-Men villain that was poorly played in the movie.
Hmm.
Oh, hot
Yeah.
take. The new show, this new show should be called Hot Take. It should be called Spider with his fingers on his head, like he's having a serious thought.
A super serious thought.
How can I afford more Transformers?
No, I thought I'd
How
put
can I
up
cut corners in my diet to afford more Transformers?
I thought I'd put up your joke thing, and then apparently it's not here, so it didn't stay. So I have to do it
Oh,
again. And I should have
why am
noticed
I?
that before the show. So
Why am I not surprised? Who is the Facebook user?
speak up, Facebook user, in comments.
I don't know. Like this keeps
Wait.
happening. I think it's Leah, but I'm not sure because this keeps happening.
Well, because they have to.
No, because she already did.
I know, so it might be another person. So hello, person. Tell us who you are.
Hello.
Hello. Hello.
I'm at a
Hello.
plus curd vertiger. Vortigoon?
Murmur. Demertlerf. Demertlerf. Murmur. Mertlerf.
The meatloaf?
Yeah, I guess so. I don't know.
I want to say it is Leah. Like I'll put $10 down that it's Leah, but if I'm wrong, then I gotta flex my biceps.
That's that doesn't sound like an established challenge.
No, but it challenged the establishment.
I don't think they're really going to be that worried about it.
I think that's me. I think, oh my gosh, Facebook user. I think it's me. I think that's me. So we got it right. We got one right. I don't have to. I'm still gonna flex my biceps a little bit. I gotta flex them a little bit.
No, you don't have to.
It's show and tell, and I'm showing and I'm telling.
I kind of wish you wouldn't.
I know you don't, but I wish I would. So that's all that matters.
I'm gonna get drunk while I listen to you.
I mean, what else is new? Nothing. Nothing is new. All right. It is time. It's our Black Friday episode. We're going to talk about all things Black Friday. But first, it is time for dad jokes. So we don't have a thing. He had a thing loaded. The thing didn't thing like it was supposed to thing.
It didn't save, I guess. I don't know.
So let's do it together. We'll do it again for him because we got to hit him with it. Let's go.
It's time for dad jokes. That was
Not too bad. We're not.
You came
too
in a little late.
bad.
I was expecting you to come in sooner.
That's what she said.
Well, I guess she was disappointed either way.
Either way, she was definitely disappointed. What
Well-
do you call the Hunger Games in America? Black Friday. Though, to be honest, Black Friday hasn't had the same merit that it once did when you and I were Black Friday.
It's not like it used to be. Not at all. Like
Not at all.
Everything's online now, like weeks in advance.
Facts.
And it used to be like when they first started doing the online stuff, we were still working at in retail, and
yeah,
they would put stuff online, but they'd still have like, oh, but you still got to come to the store for the super special stuff, so it'd be super busy in the store. But now everything is identical, like even Walmart, Target, whatever, like it's the same exact sale all week long.
And people cut on to them janky ass TVs, and they're buying them early. So.
Yep.
They're while they're realizing they're STVs, they're like, I can get it on a Tuesday. I'm gonna get this horrible TV on a Tuesday. Like, it's still a horrible TV. You're
those
buying
$30 tablets that they're like, oh man, these $30 tablets are gonna be great for my kids. They're broken in a week and they bring them back. Like, I didn't know that it was gonna break like this. It's a $30 tablet. I mean, okay. I didn't know. Sure.
The tablet just says ablet. It says made in Saskatchewan. That's not even a real country. When did you
It
check
uses a
that?
version of Android from last year.
It uses a battery that is what is it? What's the one? What's the square ones?
Oh, the 9 volts. 9
Yeah,
volts.
it uses a 9-volt battery. Like exactly. Like Black Friday when me and Spider were working at Sears was a whole different animal.
Yeah.
Like people stampeded each other for these deals.
Yep.
One year
I
I
had
almost hit somebody with my motor vehicle.
I had systems in place because see you didn't have it too bad. You had to do a lot of
No.
checking stock and things like that, but you didn't
Oh
have to do
no,
the
it
actual
wasn't that. Well, we had the mess. You guys
Yeah,
didn't have the mess we had. We
yeah,
had the super ultra mess of like, oh, they've trashed it. Better go clean it up. Like 20 minutes
yeah,
into the shift, and then it was like 20 minutes more.
yeah. He had cleanup. I had actual sales. Like I had to get people sales stuff and whatnot. And so I had a strategy. I would give all the stuff that I knew was gonna be a high chance of being returned or being crap, and have one of the other salespeople sell all
Yep.
that. Like they'd think they're making tons of money, and then like come January, all that gets returned, all that gets taken out of your check because it's commission. What I would do is I would sell the
See?
stuff with stuff that can't be returned easily or can't be returned at all, like video game stuff, because once you open a video game, can't take it back.
And I need you to hold that for me.
I'm still holding probably one from like 6 years ago.
Still. But where the difference between the two of us, I was guaranteed money. Like I was always guaranteed money.
Mm.
I didn't have to come January, I was still guaranteed money. Yeah, hours weren't as great, but I didn't have to sell nothing. I didn't have a register to ring. So, but my cleanup was like, but the thing that I would do, like, so like while he was handing off sales, the week before Black Friday, they're like, "Hey, come in," and I was like, "Well, I should just come in and work the floor." And I would work like I would get like 70 hours,
All that
Kenny,
overtime.
70 hours in 1
Yep.
week, and they had to pay the overtime because if they didn't, see you in court because that's illegal. So I would come in and work 70 hours in 1 week, like it was nothing. I worked 70 hours. I'm like, I would go home, eat something, come back, change clothes into street clothes because back then we could wear street clothes. My boss was like, "You can wear street clothes and come back." I'm like, "Cool." And then I would straight for a week. I'd put out stock. I would basically do 11 to 12 hour shifts, 7 days, including Black Friday. And then Black Friday, I'd be like, "Okay, cool. I'll come in the earliest I can, and then I'm leaving. I'm leaving at 6. I'll come in at like." It'd be crazy. Like one time it was 12 midnight. The one time our boss, my boss, came in. He came over to the house and had Thanksgiving dinner with the folks and myself. And then he was like, "See you at work." I'm like, "I'll be there." And then I was there like it was like 4 o'clock, and I think I worked till like 9, 10, 11, 12. It was like 12 o'clock because I came in, everybody else was leaving. And I'm like, I will always take the morning shifts of Black Friday over the closing shifts because those morning shifts, you're going to leave. Those evening shifts, I don't think I have ever worked a Black Friday evening shift ever. Like I can't recall working a Black Friday evening shift. I always work the morning shifts because I'll
We
get
did.
up early. I'll always come in early.
We had to do because we were always shorthanded and they never hired enough people. We had 24-hour splits. So what you would do
Ew,
is
that's gross.
you'd come in for 12 hours, you'd go home for like, or that's if you lived close by. If you didn't live close by, you'd have to go around and just hang out for like a few hours somewhere. But I would go home because I lived at the apartment still nearby in Akron.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
I'd go there, sleep for like 3-4 hours, then come back in and do a whole full other 12-hour shift. So it was just split 24s because
Nope.
and I was like, this is the most ridiculous, worthless thing ever. But because that second shift was never any good. Everybody got everything in the morning.
Yeah.
And you'd get the stragglers in the second half that mostly would just be mad that you ran out of the stuff from the morning. And
Even
you
though the
just
stuff that you ran out of in the morning was trash.
yeah, it was garbage anyway,
Right.
but they'd be
Straight
mad that you didn't
garbage.
have it because, So either way, you didn't do anything good. the second year.
Meanwhile, I'm over here like, listen, I'll come in on your whack ass Black Friday shift, but what I'm gonna do is you're giving me off Saturday, and I'm gonna take the day after Christmas off. And if you say anything, I'm gonna quit. And I always threaten them with quitting. So I had that leverage because it was just me and Mike. And that's it. We were the only two that really worked in that department. Darlene dipped out and went to mattresses. So it was only me and Mike. And they're like, well, we can't do anything because if we do something, he quits, it's a wrap. The whole department will collapse. So like I would hold that over their head and they would have to actually barter with me and be like, all right, you don't have to come in on Saturday. And I would still come in on Sunday because Sunday I would set the ad. But by Sunday, the deals were done. So I was always one step ahead of management every single step of the way. You know, I would come in on that Black Friday. I would come in, I would get up at like, I don't know, like I told you, like I get up at like 2 a.m. and turn around and be at work at like 4 and work till like 12. Like I didn't mind that. The only time I ever hated working Black Friday is when I had to do an overnight. That's long after Hornacki was gone and I was put in charge of everything. Once he was gone and they put me in charge, they were like, I was doing 11-hour shifts every day. Every day, but I had Saturdays off. I was doing 11-hour shifts Sunday through Friday. Sunday through Thursday, I was doing 11-hour shifts. 11 hours. That's when Daphne was there. I was doing 11-hour shifts all the way up to that last Black Friday. You quit. You quit like that week before.
Oh yeah, because I told him because we had just had my daughter.
Just had.
Like the end of October, and I told him flat out, I'm like, there's no way I'm going to come in and work a Black Friday all that time because I got to be home with my kid. I can't do that. Like
they should have had you at least. You should have they should have said work the Friday. You're good to go. That's what I'd have said. A good manager would have been like, come in on Friday morning, come work it. You can go home, do your 8 hours, get up out of here. I worked it. I had to do overnight. And at like 3 a.m, there was nobody. It was like up till like 10 o'clock. I almost got new.
That's when they were still, because that's when they were still trying to open on Thanksgiving.
Yep. And
they opened at like 7 p.m. on Thanksgiving.
And I had to be there. I had to be there at 7 p.m. on Thanksgiving. Like, I didn't get to have Thanksgiving with my folks. And that's lame. So hopefully there's a lame status there made because I didn't get to have that. Like, I 100% had to be there at 7 p.m. 7 p.m. I had to do a 7 to 7. A 7 p.m. to 7 a.m. And listen, I've done 12-hour third shift shifts at factories. Like, that's not something I've not done. However, retail is different. Like, I'm in the back, like it's 3 in the morning. I'm like, there's nobody here. There's no justifiable reason that you have to keep the store open. Not one single reason that you have to keep the store open. Like, there wasn't one. And so I was like, cool. And then that was the last year I worked. Because then I was like, my son was born in he was born in that next year. And I'd quit in April. I'm like, no, like my son is being born. I'm not finna do this no more. And then they ended up going out of business.
And then it was what, that same year? Was it the year after?
Yeah, no, it was basically that. It was like that year after.
Yeah.
Is when it was just like, yo, okay, cool, I'm good. Like, I'll just straight up, I'll straight up just quit. Like, I'm good. Like, I'm solid. You know what I mean? Like, I'm solid. I'm good. So I just quit. I was like, yo, I quit. They're like, oh my God, what are we gonna do? I'm like, they're just gonna have to deal. And they had to deal. Like, and they never hired anybody in footwear after me. They had Cindy come over and work it. No.
Because what they do, and I knew this from my other store that closed after I left there, one of the first departments they get rid of, because they start trimming the fat, so to speak, and one of the first departments they get rid of is they get rid of shoes. Because the people there don't have to ring, and they don't have to, all they do is stock. So what they did was they eliminate basically the department, merge whatever shoes they have with clothing,
with apparel,
and just let it go. And that's the first step
Yep.
for when they're trying to quit or when they're trying to shut the store down. They start
Yep.
trimming off all those excess little bits that don't make them money.
That's why it was just me. And like they would hire randos. Like I remember what's his face that like got caught sleeping in the back by WB by one of
Demetrius.
Beaches. By one of
Demetrius.
Beaches. One of Beaches caught him. She still doesn't know what one of Beaches means. She still to this day, I guarantee, ponders that when she goes to bed at night. Like, what was one of Beaches? What does that mean?
She looks up at the stars like, curse you.
Curse you for not going to that morning meeting. She had the unmitigated audacity to be like, you guys gotta go. We're like, no, we don't.
I don't go to staff meetings. So I was like, I'm done with staff meetings. We're all finished with that.
Listen, and it was in your department always.
Yeah.
And I just be in the back, like, I'm gonna sit here and take a nap. I'm gonna sit here and chill. And you'd be like, hey, you want to go to Starbucks? As soon as they open, yeah, let's go. Yep. Let's go. Now the Black Fridays I did work when I worked at Dick's Sporting Goods, those were crazy. Those were hectic. Those were nuts. Like I worked in team sports, and then I worked in footwear one year, and I worked in exercise. But man, I made so much money. I made dumb money because you just have customers come in. They're like, I need this $2.99 basketball hoop set. I'm like, cool, get the warranty. They're like, why? I'm like, if you don't get the warranty, it's gonna fall apart. Trust me, it's gonna fall apart. Well, I better get the warranty. So I made I was the warranty leader for like the whole month of December because I was like bang, like let's go. Because the way that they would tabulate November's results to December because Black Friday they looked at like holiday shit, right?
Yeah.
I was leader because I was like, it's gonna break down, trust me. And like I would have glass systems. I was selling $2,000 systems with the $1,000 warranty and just making stupid money because I knew how to talk to the customer. I never steered them wrong. I didn't lie to them because I had customers bring back whole basketball systems that fell apart. The plastic ones would be like, well, fell in my driveway because of a windstorm. What did you put in it? I put water. You got to put sand in it, dummy. You got to put sand and tether it down or wire it down to your, whatever, what have you, wire it down to your concrete. And did you put it down to its lowest setting in the breezy time? You take care of it in wintertime? No. All right. You didn't have the warranty? Sorry, sir. It's not covered. All right. Get stepping. Like, I had a lot of good times working that Black Friday. I worked that Black Friday, let's see, 7, 8, 9, 4 years. That was a solid Black Friday. I'd never worked a close, ever. I don't think I've ever worked a closing Black Friday in my entire life, ever.
Not I only had a couple, but that's because we were always super short-handed. In my department, they were always worried about that, whereas your department, they're like, whatever. Somebody can go over and cover. Who cares? So when you were gone, they're like, oh, it's a disaster, but who cares? He'll fix it tomorrow.
You're not wrong.
For me, they were like, oh, we're actually going to make some slim sort of money on some of this stuff. So we got to have people, but we can't pay them too much because it's commission.
I legit once was just in the back flexing, and and JJ came in the back and was like, he goes, I go, what are they going to do? Fire me? He's like, we might. I was like, you're not. I was like, I called his bluff on the spot. You're not going to fire me. That would be the stupidest mistake you can make. I'm the only one that knows what to do at all with signage, with scans. I told Leah, I go, I just stopped scanning towards the end. She was like, what? I go, yeah, I just stopped. I didn't do it anymore. I'm like, what are they going to do? Fire me? Oh, no. They did not. I just quit voluntarily. Like, I was like, I'm out. But yeah, like I stopped scanning. Like I legit just, I think I did that, like because I knew I was out. Like as soon as like I knew my son was born, I had an exit strategy. So I was just like, and the store was closing. Like the way that the way things were going. When you left, I stopped caring, because then they hired all these new young kids in because young kids are easy. They can fire them; they'll bounce back on their feet. So like when I knew that the store was closing, I was just like, all right, I guess I'll just go ahead and not scan anymore because you guys are closing, so it doesn't really matter. I just stopped. I
Before
legit
I-
just one day just stopped scanning, just quit scanning.
Before I went from the electronics floor back to stock, I stopped doing the planograms. I stopped like doing all those TV reorganizations. They're like, we
Yeah,
gotta
but
get this
planograms
done.
is different than scanning. Like scanning's
Well, yeah,
inventory management.
yeah, but this was like, moving all those TVs, all those stands, all those sound systems, everything, which is a lot of effort and a lot of work, and especially.
I still remember when you quit.
Mm,
I still remember. And listen, so like we're two polar opposites on shit. He would get serious with management and be like, "I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it." As to where I would be like, "What you gonna do? Fire me? Go ahead. I wish you would. I wish you would. You fire me, I'm getting unemployment.
mm.
So go ahead." But I remember the day he quit, he was like, "Yeah, I'm done." I'm like, "Man, there were some expletives in that text that I sent back to him, but I mean, but all in all, like joking aside, it was probably one of the best, if not the best job I've ever worked in my entire life. Like I had a blast working there. As fun as crazy as what we talk about it as like wild as we talk
The
about
good
it.
times were good. Like
Yeah,
when the good times were
100%.
there, like right, like before everything started going, when we knew things were going to start closing down, there was that high moment when everybody was making money.
Yeah,
We were hanging out. We couldn't get in trouble because we were making money.
making
Like
money.
I was full time. They're like, whatever. They were mad at me all the time, but what could they do? Because I was making them money, and I was happy because I was making money.
Yeah.
And then after that's when the store started getting ready to close. All the writing was on the wall, and that was it. And then the good times were over.
So it started with Mike, then Alec, then you, and then I was like, I'm out too. I'm done. Like I gave you guys like, let's see, 12, 14, maybe it was like 6, 7 years of my life.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
I was done. Like as soon as I saw it, I was out. I was so done. Like Demetrius falling asleep on the floor in the back. They're like, "Yeah, we caught him sleeping." I'm like, "What?" I'm like, "Yeah, we caught him sleeping. He was in the back taking a nap." I was like, "What?" Like laying down on the concrete. Listen, I fell asleep back there too, but I put my head on the shelf just enough to where they couldn't catch me. I remember Brad came back one time. You know, Brad
Yeah.
Radley. He was a real jerk. Uh, he was like, "Hey, what's up? Heard you fell. I saw you come back here just seeing what's up." I was like, yeah, I was coming back here to get some stock." "Well, we seen you on the camera going to." I'm like, "Yeah, of course you did. That was my break." "Well, you can't." I'm like, "No, I can. Fire me if you want to." And walk past him, and he was upset. What was he gonna do? Then he had transferred out to Belton, and then Belton closed, and I was like, "Oh, it's too bad.
Funny how that works out.
It's too bad. That's too
Funny how that
bad.
works out.
It's too bad."
All those career folks that were always like, "Oh, everything's gonna be fine, don't worry." And now they're
Nope.
all out of those jobs too. And now they probably got worse jobs now.
Yeah, but some of those career folks deserved, hopefully, like people like
Yeah,
Wenda and
yeah.
like Jerome
I'm
and
talking more
people
like
like that.
management level people, the people who should have known better,
100%.
should have had like people's backs, and they
Remember
didn't.
when Brittany tried to like flaunt her management? Like, "I'm a manager now. You guys gotta respect."
She was in charge of the back, like stock room, and she never came back for anything. She
Not
would
ever.
very rarely, like she was supposed to be our manager, and she wasn't. She
Bro,
never did
she would
anything.
go down with JJ to the tire center to get her tires replaced, if you catch my drift.
Uh-huh. Yeah, they got that upstairs that's all dark, and there's nobody.
We
up
went there. Me
Yeah.
and you, me and my boy Adrian would go there for the fixtures because they would house the
Yeah.
fixtures upstairs. I'm
Yep.
like, "Yo, we can literally just hide here for the rest of the day. We don't do nothing." But like him and Brittany would go there, and it was all like, at first I was like, okay, maybe they're just going back their fixtures, but they would go there all the time. And then it come to find out that he was smashing that, and I was like, "Yo, what is you
He was
doing?"
notorious for having like, I mean, he had a wife who was. I don't want to make anybody upset and say something offensive like she looked really good, blah blah blah. But she was an attractive person, and he was the type that it didn't matter. He was just playing around with all kinds of people,
I
like because he
remember
could.
I remember one time. Listen, so years later, like when I started working out again, like at the Y, I saw him. I literally saw this when he come up, tried to shake my hand, try to buddy. I'm like, okay, it is what it is, bro. I'm not tripping. I'm not really stressing that stuff. It is what it is. Like I'll let it go. I don't work there anymore. You're not my boss. I'm not tripping. I can shake your hand and be cool. He's like, we should totally get on the free weight sometime. Like, cool, let's go. Let's hit the pad and let's lift. He was not there that following week. I have not seen him since, and this has been 5 years ago, probably 6 years ago. And like I've been lifting for a minute, but it's funny to me how like when the power isn't there, now all of a sudden you play Mr. Nice Guy. I just thought that was funny. I don't know. I'm wilding. It's your boy. It's your boys. It's your boys. But yeah, I've had a lot of good Friday moments.
Mm.
Like for real, like a lot of good Black Friday moments. And they always went by super fast. Always. I never had them because like you're constantly doing something. Like you are constantly like boom, boom, boom. I would take a Black Friday in a minute over a February workday. February workday, bro, you're not doing nothing. You're just standing there like, damn, wish something would happen.
Yeah. February,
You
March
know?
were like notoriously slow all the time until like
Facts.
April when people were start preparing for like their springtime and football season and stuff like that.
Right. Well, April would have we would do our reset because we would do our reset. We'd have women's reset where we would take women's winter boots, move them to the back, and bring the spring collection. And then I was like, yo, that's my favorite time because now I'm guaranteed hours because I got to help with that always. That's before before the management thing kicked in. But that and like from April to about February, like you were guaranteed to be working, and that was the best part to me. That was like my favorite time, and I had a lot of good times this year. I got hired in July, in like the hottest month. I closed on a Sunday. I had never. That was there was only like 2 Sundays the entire time I worked there that I closed. After that, I was like, I can't close on Sundays. I got to open, and so they always made sure I opened on Sundays, but like I worked my tail off every single time I was there, and things needed to be done. With with the exception of the time I read the Maze Runner in 8 hours on an 8 hour shift, I worked. Like there was never a time I didn't work. The ad always got done. The reason like people like a certain gentleman got fired is because he left that department a mess. Like right before Black Friday, like 2 days before Black Friday he left the department a mess. And our old store manager Rula was like, yo, he's fired. I was like, yeah, good. Fire him. Like if you work that shift and the department is a mess and you don't clean it up and the next shift has to clean your mess up, you are trash. And I don't mean the next shift comes in because the shift before you was a mess, customers everywhere. If there's nobody and you're just standing around and not cleaning up, you're a horrible person. Like in my opinion, like if you're not cleaning up, you're a horrible person. Like you're screwing the next shift over. And that's one thing I never did. I always made sure my department was clean. I was always recovering, as they call it. And I did that consistently. My department looked immaculate. I made sure the department was immaculate because that if the customer's happy, you're keeping your job 9 times out of 10. 10 times out of 10, but the 9, like I'll give it a 9 because management at our place was trash.
Yeah.
But like I said, I never had a horrible Black Friday, except the one where I almost hit somebody with my motor vehicle. But that's because they ran across the road right as I was coming into work. Like I was literally coming into work. I was coming around the mall, and they're like, "I gotta go," and I was like, almost hit them. I'm like, man, and then this individual's boyfriend wanted to get tough, and I'm like, bro, I'm doing a 12-hour shift. Do not, I repeat, do not start a fight with me because I would rather spend the night in jail than do this 12-hour bullshit. Oops, said a swear.
You've been on it today. Like you've been dropping
today.
them. You've been dropping them.
But it's like, don't do that. But that was a horrible shift. I almost got into a fight with a customer that shift. He got mad about some work boots. I'm like, bro, I can't control the ad. I don't. Well, you better, Russ. Like, or else what? Like, what are you gonna do? Nothing. You're not gonna do a thing. You're gonna complain and you're gonna go home. So get your boots and go home. That's it. Get your stuff and go home. That's it. That was the last Black Friday I worked. And then the next Black Friday I stopped in because I'm like, I'm up here. I was up getting some stuff. I'm like, oh, let me stop up because I'm at Best Buy buying some stuff. Let me swing through. And it was dead. It was dead on a Black Friday, and it was never dead on a Black Friday. When I saw that, I was like, it's done. It's over. It's a wrap. It's a rappy rap. It's a Michael Rappaport. There's a cat behind him. I think he moved him though.
No,
he's still
dog
there.
was getting restless. Yeah,
what about that cat behind you? That's what I came to see.
This one?
Yeah, that one. What's that one? What's that one's name?
That's Marvin, because he's a Martian cat.
I like it. I like everything that's going on right now. Like I'm ready just to have him like replace you as my co-host. You want to be my co-host?
What do you think?
Yeah, he does.
He's usually really mouthy. What do you think?
What are you doing, Marvin?
Marvin.
I like it.
He's like,
I
ain't talking to your fans.
He's not. He dipped. He dipped.
Nope.
He had enough. Oh, there he is. He's back. He's like, listen, I'm finna make it happen, Captain. But yeah, like, and then they would have like dinner and like they would have food for us. And like the food got progressively worse as the years.
The problem with it was that if it was anything halfway decent, Rob Miller would eat all of it before anybody else got there for the later shifts.
That's why you had to work the morning shifts, because then you didn't eat anything.
Yep.
Because they were smart. They would have Rob Miller work the later, like the split shift or that mid shift of like 10 to 8. But like if you got there in the morning, you were good. They would have donuts and bagels. They'd have Panera. At one point, they catered Panera, and I was like, yo, we live in life. Remember that soap opera that we never figured out the answer to?
I know. They had the bomb and
that
they threw that in the river.
That bomb. Then we had to ask somebody that was
Yeah.
like Sheila. Sheila was a big follower of the soaps. We're like, listen, there was a bomb in the river. What happened to the bomb in the river? She didn't answer. She ain't know.
Because they never showed it blowing up. They just showed him like
No.
throwing it in the river. No, we didn't even know who set the bomb. Like, why did they set the bomb? Why is a soap opera so intense that somebody's setting bombs and somebody's going to throw them in the river?
Me and my me and Spider would sit there at the lunch thing, eating our lunches and watching this shit transfold. We'd be like, what is going on? Like the bomb came up, we're like, yo. They would be like, you've got to hold me, Maria, and kiss me. And then some people be like, I'm gonna plant a bomb and someone blow something up. And my coach would be like, well, what's going on with this bomb? I want to know what's going on with this bomb. I think like a month later, we talked to Sheila and just like, wait, the bomb was part of this plot. We're like, what happened to the bomb? Did it blow up? I want to know. But yeah, like if you didn't get in there, because they would have different stuff for different shifts. The morning shift was always the best shift to get food, because if you went in the evening shift, you got pizza. The pizza's dry as hell. I think they got it from like somebody's dad had microwaved a frozen pizza in the microwave, and then they just brought it in. But if you worked in the morning, you got Panera and like got donuts. I was back there like, might as well sneak back here and get some donuts. Good luck, Mike. Good luck, Mike. Mike and Ike. So yeah, there it is. There it is. All right, that's good.
It's Black Friday.
Good show. It's a Black Friday episode of this Uncanny Black Friday.
What about Thanksgiving? Anybody want to talk about Thanksgiving?
Well, there was a slaughter of a bunch of people, and no, I'm kidding. I'm not gonna be that person. I had a good Thanksgiving though. I had 4 pies. 4 pies at my folks' house. Chocolate.
Entire pies or just like a slice of each?
No, entire. There was a chocolate, a lemon meringue, which I brought. Your boy. That was homemade. I paid somebody, but it was homemade.
I was gonna say, I was like, you cooking up cakes now. Now you think you're fancy.
I god dang right, I'm fancy, the fanciest mother lover you've ever met. So yeah, there was pumpkin, chocolate, lemon, meringue, and banana cream. So there was that. It's still like the best pie I've had is peanut butter. Like, um, and I've had a couple other pies um, that have been very tasty. But
I'm leaving. See you later.
it's about god dang time. Yes. Anyway, so now guys, he's gone. Ah, ships. He's back. Dang it. Dang it, Dom.
Plausible deniability. That's all I'm saying about that.
Dawsable peniability is what I say. Nah, I ate a good chunk of meals. My grandfather wasn't there with us this year because he had passed, and that kind of sucked for my old man. But other than that, it was good. I know you just played video games all day.
Yeah, my well,
Like
I
a
had
common
that
tramp.
cold. I'd had that cold or whatever, and we were supposed to go to my sister's this year in Youngstown, and my folks were going to be there, but her husband came down with the 19. So let me
Lee
put that up on the
Dickey,
screen.
what's up? What's up?
Yeah, he
So,
came down with the sickness, as Disturbed would say.
oh,
And so nobody else was going to go. And so I was like, well, I was already feeling kind of not great. So I was going to send the ladies. And so we just weren't going to go. So then they changed gears and went down to West Virginia, like at the last minute, instead to hang out with the other side of the family. And I was like, I don't want to go that distance, not feeling that great. Like sitting in a car, having to sneeze and cough and being like, kind of like, So I was like, whatever. So I just stayed home. I had Chinese food.
it's weird. So Canadians celebrate Thanksgiving earlier than we do.
Yeah.
I don't know if you know that.
There's Canadian Thanksgiving, and then there's Boxing Day, and then there's Christmas. There's Boxing Day after Christmas.
It's after Christmas. It's like the
Yeah.
26th. It's like the 26th of Diciembre. It's the 26th of Diciembre. But that's good. It's glad you enjoyed your Thanksgiving bacchanalia with Chinese food like some weirdo.
I got stuff done. I got stuff done around the house. I played some games. I shot some content for my channel and stuff like that. So
Your channel?
yeah,
Yeah.
we both got our individual,
It's
and we got
your channel now? No, I'm sorry. It's communist channel. I take over. It's mine too.
the
It's
other one.
our channel. Boxing Day is a real knockout up here.
Dun, dun, dun.
Listen, y'all go follow Lee Dickey. He's on Instagram and he be telling dad jokes. And I'll be mad at him sometimes because they're hilarious. And I don't want to laugh, but I laugh. Because I'm the king of dad jokes. Oh, yeah. But yeah, it's crazy. Like, I don't know. Thanksgiving was different this year. I don't know. I don't know what you want me to say.
Well, if anybody out there in the audience wants to talk about their Thanksgiving, that's cool too. Go ahead, chime in. We don't mind.
If
I'm not big into holidays myself personally, but I know that many people out there are, and I'm in a minority. So I don't mind having other people speak up all about it. Like I don't have much ever to say.
If you
about
don't,
holidays.
we will end the show early tonight because it's Black Friday. Ain't really much to talk about. We talked about our Black Friday experiences. That's really about it. I really don't know what else to talk about.
Well, I mean, we got stuff upcoming. Like next week's show for this one, you won't be here.
I will not be here.
You
but
won't
the
be
comedy thing of this whole shenanigan is that Spider will be taking over for a very special This Uncanny Earth.
That's
The
right.
last one was an absolute amazing show. It was really good. He went in about readings and stuff that he does, and it was a good show. So listen, just because I'm not here, don't mean you shouldn't tune in. You goddamn better tune in. God dang better tune in, Bobby. Tell you what. Because if you don't tune in, you're doing yourself a disservice. And who knows what he's going to talk about this week? What are you going to talk about this week?
Like, I don't even know yet. I don't want to do the same thing as last time because I want to keep it kind of fresh and interesting and something new. But Yeah, I'll figure something out. It'll be a surprise. It'll be fun. It'll be a good time. Anybody who wants to watch can tune in and watch me be silly and do whatever I do.
Why
Um,
don't you talk about the left-hand path and some of the stuff from that regard? Because people, I think, get a bad taste in their mouth because they
yeah,
hear of people like Anton LaVey and Jim Jones
and that's
and
understandable.
David
Like,
Koresh and
yeah,
uh, what's the guy in Bath that ate his victims? That guy that they made a Netflix documentary about, uh, Pol Pot,
I don't think half those people.
Jeffrey Dahmer,
I think you're just now making like
Lyndon Baines Johnson,
this is a terrible thing he's going to
JFK,
talk about.
JFK, Dwight D. Eisenhower, George Washington.
No, that's Freemasons. That's Freemasons. That's entirely much worse.
It legit is, dude. Like
It's
you're
much
not
worse.
wrong. Like it's much worse. Like
That's
it is
much worse.
way worse. It's way worse. Like,
Scottish
it's way
Rite and everything
worse.
with the tongue, and then
Yeah, and it's
Yeah.
not about the groceries.
that's right.
You don't eat them like groceries. Yikes. Pharaoh Ramesses the third. He was in the left.
Well, apart from all that, that doesn't make any sense at all.
Not at all.
I'll be here talking about stuff. And what other stuff do we
Hotep,
have going on? I know I have
Brendan
stuff.
Fraser, Rachel Weisz, the
I don't know
bald
who those
guy.
people are. But I have content. Do you have any new content for your
I do.
channel?
I've got some
You
new
do.
content.
Talk about it for a minute.
Uh,
I'm on the spot now. I don't know what to say.
You guys head on over to my Twitch channel. This is Uncanny Gaming, where I play Fork Knife. Oh, I heard a GD. I did not say a GD. I said a god darn. God dang. Thanksgiving's pretty good. Turkey got accidentally boiled. There was also a ham save the day. Almost dad napped. Fun times. I'm surprised. I think there was more Black Friday deals this year physically than last year. I didn't partake in Black Friday though. I disagree. I don't think there was as many Black Friday physical deals because everything I got was online. Everything Black Friday wise I bought was online. There was nothing in store. Though I think what disappointed me this year as opposed to last year and years before was the game deals. There was really like Far Cry 6 was the only one, and that was $10. There was nothing that I was like, man, I better run out and grab it.
Yeah.
That was the first time this year that there was nothing. And that's weird to me. Like the other years, like I remember going to Best Buy and like spending some money and having like 6-7 games in a stack. And this year it was like, wow, you have the new Call of Duty for $55. Oh no, what am I going to do? Not buy it. That's
I think that's a symptom of the game industry right now because a lot of the Xbox games in particular. I don't know about PlayStation. I know Xbox has raised a lot of the prices by $10.
PlayStation did
games.
it first. Yeah, like Demon's
So,
Souls was like 70.
They don't make a big deal about
70.
it, but that's a symptom of showing, they're trying to recoup costs somewhere because they're losing money, probably from the last couple of years where everything was a mess, So, but they didn't mark stuff down as much this year for game stuff. Like the Series S is super cheap for anybody who needs a next gen system, but the Series S is not as good as the Series X. Like
Not even close.
Truly 100.
I'd rather have the Series X. It's crazy because I haven't seen a $70 game since Phantasy Star 4 on Sega.
Mm-hmm.
Like we're talking Sega Genesis RPGs because game prices when me and you were growing up were wild. Because they would price them based on their genre. So like sports games were super cheap, but like RPGs, because they had the battery pack is what saved your game. Those were like $70-$80. Like Phantasy Star 4 was like $75 for a single game. And kids today are like, I'm not going to spend $20. I'm the kid. I'm not going to spend $20. But yeah, I guess for the area, there was more last year. I think there was a sock deal and that was it. I mean, for us, like the sad thing to me was like going on Best Buy and seeing like one or two $10 games. Like everything else was like.
And just a few years ago, people were camping outside of Best Buy overnight. And now there's nothing like that. Like if anybody did that
No.
like this year, it was like maybe a couple diehards and that was it. But
And well,
back
they don't have
years
those
ago,
TVs like where I work. That those crappy TVs were sold. I was there Tuesday, and Tuesday they had the crappy TVs. And I mean, like the crappy TVs usually those were shrink wrapped, and those were put on the floor like that day. Um, Someone I know that works there, they said they would have them taped off for that Black
yeah,
Friday. This year, like I was seeing people load them into cars. Those
yeah,
Roku TVs loaded into cars this year on a Tuesday, like
yeah.
Black Tuesday. Um,
Because everybody started early. It was a Black Friday. Like Black Friday was a whole week, if not
yeah.
two
No,
weeks,
you're not wrong.
and it
You're not
matched the
wrong.
online. Like everything was all in
Yeah.
line. Everything was all together. And when Black Friday actually got here as a day, it was no different.
No, it
It was
was like
just
and I don't know if I like that or if I don't. Because let me just say this. I like I liked Black Friday. I like it. Black Friday. Black Friday. Not there was an name they called it for Thursday. Not Thursday, but like Black Friday was fun to me. I enjoyed going out, being out in the
hated it.
crowds.
Always
I
hated it.
liked it. I liked it. Like that
But
was
see,
my thing.
I'm like a real, you know me, I'm a real philosophical person about that kind of stuff. So I always had like a rant about like consumerism and BS like that. And I hate to see that kind of stuff when you can just get it all the rest of the year. I'm kind of an idealistic like jerk
Now, here we
face as
go.
far as
Here
that
we
goes.
go. I
No,
have
that's
keywords.
accurate. Idealistic jerk face. That's my political and social leaning. Idealistic
Online
jerk
pickup was
face.
crazy this year. I saw some Walmart employees trying to fit two TVs in the car.
I remember those days.
Oh my god.
I remember
I
those.
remember those days.
People would bring their compact cars,
I remember trying to fit a basketball system into a car. They're like,
treadmills,
what if we move the what if we move this to the
treadmills.
left? I'm like, it's not gonna fit. You have a 72-inch backboard. You're not gonna fit it in your Honda Civic. Like it's not gonna happen.
Treadmills.
Yeah. Yeah, actually, you're not wrong, Lee. Like Black Friday legit runs all November now. Like it really started about 2 weeks ago, and like I don't know, like, and the funny thing is, I would be interested to see the consumer reports come out regarding sales of Black Friday this year as opposed to other years. Like I'd really be like
Because it
interested
used
to
to be.
see,
Because it used to be that Black Friday, if you didn't make money on Black Friday, your store was in the black.
and
Like
that
all the
was
rest of the year, they considered it
yep,
losing money except for Black Friday, and now they
yep,
can't. Now they
right.
can't do that, which is a super like nobody has really examined that dynamic super
Not
closely.
yet. No.
It's an entire
Because of the
change.
virus. The virus is the reason why Black Friday isn't Black Friday anymore. Like there was a dynamic that here's the bubble. The dynamic came in and popped that
Oh
bubble,
yeah,
and
everything
now.
changed.
But here's the thing. I think this is my personal opinion. I think next year we're going to see that resurgence of Black Friday because the hospitals aren't requiring the masking anymore. I still think you're going to have those people who are going to be like, well, I'm afraid of the virus. Whatever. You're allowed to think
Yeah,
that.
I mean, people have
Um,
whatever you want.
yes. But I think that next year you're going to see that resurgence of Black Friday. I think this year was a cautionary sort of like the water's tepid. We're going to test it. But I think next year stores are going to open for Thanksgiving again. They're going to try the same model. But if we do not get out of the inflation based on the current administration, based on the world political stage that's going on currently, I think the Black Fridays are going to dull. I think if we can get out of the if we can turn our heads away from the world stage and be like, well, we don't care what's going on here. We fixed what was going on with our country and sort of reel back in everybody to the American dynamic. I think we can have a Black Friday, but I think at the same time that it's going to be uh, and like
companies, corporations are going to have to figure out a way to fit the idea of online retailing and Black Friday into one thing. There's a heart there, into one ideology. Like, as long as you have the online shopper now and you're offering the online shopper discounts for not leaving the house, you're going to have that. But I think with COVID basically being over at this point, because I mean, it is over. Like, hospitals aren't requiring masks. It's not as serious anymore as it once was.
Herd immunity is pretty much here. I know there's going to be people who disagree, and I know there's going to be lots of people who are going to say that I'm whatever, but I'm not going to argue. It's not.
No. You have a right to your opinion.
You know, it's the herd immunity has pretty much got here. You can see it walking around in the streets right now.
Yeah.
So you can worry about it if you want. A lot of the rest of the world isn't going to, and now we have to adjust to figuring out what happens afterwards. Because things can't go exactly the way they were before, because too many systems got busted and broken and torn apart in the meantime.
But it was a good indicator of how well these systems would hold up if something like this happened. The retail establishment was no different. It was no different from the effects of the current administration, the virus, socioeconomic factors. There was many things at play this year that were not at play when the virus was here. The virus brought about a lot of online deals, right? That didn't happen. The online deals were a whole, like, there was free shipping. You could get games, crazy prices, because nobody was wanting to touch anything.
I ordered a lot of alcohol.
I ordered so many freaking games. I got so many deals. Like, it was crazy. Like, deals were falling out of the sky last year. And then especially the year before that. But like, now we're in a weird state of flux where, okay, we have to move on. We have to move on from the virus. While yes, it is serious for some and not for others, we have to move on from it. But how do we move on?
Because demand is restabilizing. Like, demand is coming back into play. Before, the demand had gone down a little bit just because people were fearful
100%.
of stuff. But now demand for non-essentials, like non-food items, non-toiletries, things that are entertainment things, are really starting to pick up. And it's like a start-stop. Like, things are going jerk one way, jerk the other way, and now 100%. We have to really adjust.
100%. And Facebook user says if they incorporated online bids with physically picking up the deals, I think that it could research as well. I'm not sure the benefit for stores to do the in-store thing, though. The only issue I see with incorporating online bids with physically picking up the deals is you would have a basic sort of cutoff of goods, right? So you would have stores that would basically say, okay, yes, here's an online bid for this TV, right? We're going to keep a couple TVs away from the online bidding aspect and make the aspect of coming into our store more appealing, which I think would be good and bad. The idea now is that the internet is at everybody's fingertips. So with the trash TVs, people go online and say, well, this TV's trash. And I don't think the money is there for the ONN TVs, if you will, the Roku TVs, to make a profit for stores anymore. I don't think the profit is not there because people have understood the scheme behind it. They understand that, okay, now that we have these TVs, we have to get them because we have a deal with the supplier that gave us like a 10-year contract. We have to figure out how to get rid of these. However, it is not going to be our main supplier at this point. We need to figure out how to sell the Samsung TVs. And that's where your January sales are going to come in. You're going to be seeing a lot more electronics, a lot more furniture, a lot more washer, dryers, refrigerators, stoves, things like that going forth more into our January cycle in a first quarter aspect. You see, our fourth quarter aspect is more of a, okay, we have this much stuff left behind from our previous selling year. We have to move it out. So what I see corporations doing is moving that product on a first come, first serve basis, and really banking on those sales from the TVs, the furniture, not so much the furniture, but the TVs, the refrigerators, your appliances, your washers, dryers, things like that. I see those being the top selling points for future Black Fridays, and I see our 2023 retail season kicking off with more deals that revolve around, okay, we got the new stuff in, the new stuff. Come in and buy it. Come in and get the new stuff. I see the concept of cheap TVs in terms of, like you said, the Roku TVs and the one you had returned after Black Friday for Samsung. She fell victim to it. But I never did, because I
made
knew
the right choice in the end, though, because Samsung makes the best TVs, they make the best phones.
Yes. Well, now Panasonic made the best TVs.
Well,
for
yeah,
a very long time.
They don't even make consumer electronics anymore. They only make corporate things. They're completely out of the.
Yes, they completely jumped out of it. You got a Panasonic anything, and you were like, especially their stereos. My God, I had a Panasonic stereo. You could hear it from 2 houses down. I know, because I made sure you could hear from 2 houses down.
My last one, my home theater was a Panasonic, and then something on the power part, the power regulator or something on the inside blew out, and
she wants to sit down in a bid war with my little number fan. That's acceptable. But I see a point to what you're saying, and I see the bidding happening on old stuff. I don't see it happening on new stuff. I do not see that happening on the 2023 models. I see them holding back, dropping them on January 1st, new year, new me ideology. New year, new me. But your November, December deals are going to be your last year's models. I think we're moving into a business cycle where that is going to happen. And I think as long as we are in a retail space where Black Friday is now relying on moving product from that year and keeping it away from the new quarter, like my co-host said, the Black Friday ideology of the stores in the black. Well, now stores are going to look to get out of the black by moving their year-end merchandise and keeping their 2023 merchandise until January 1st. And they're going to use that. They're going to use the concept of people getting money for Christmas. They're getting multiple checks. They're getting multiple payments for Christmas. Into that new year, we're going to see a trend in business completely shift. And I think the dynamic at play here with what we're seeing is going to transition into future Black Fridays, and we cannot dismiss the idea of picking up something that was last year's model in place of this year's model. And that is
there you go. That's we're going to revisit this next year.
Yes.
If that prediction, I'm going to come back and make sure we check this.
Let's do it.
And we'll see how that.
Listen, your boy didn't get a business degree for nothing. I don't have a degree in marketing not to see trends in business, but I do think with people being intelligent, the online deals I've seen are a lot of marketing schemes. I've seen many deals where the original price was up right before.
Sears did that.
Yes.
Yep.
Sears did that
all the time.
That's all Sears did. What they would do is they would take and pile deals on top of it, so it looked like it was a deal, but in reality, you're paying a bit more. Amazon is a wonderful thing. I love it because I can buy things super duper cheap, and I can get things shipped to me super duper quick. I know, right?
Evil Empire,
I guess. Whatever.
What are you gonna do?
Listen.
I use Amazon all the time. You don't have a
Listen,
choice most of the
I'll
time.
two-day the Shims al Macharif right to my house. It'll be at my door on Sunday. You know what I mean? But a necessary evil is a necessity indeed. And whether you like it or not, it's a corporate bid and a corporate entity that is here to stay. And it's not going to change. As long as they're offering local jobs and they can put the local jobs into that and build off the infrastructure, it's going to be around a very long time. And until the S&P downgrades it, which is not going to happen anytime soon, we're going to see Amazon continue
It's the future.
Well, no, that's not the case. There could be a bust at some point, which I do see happening, but it will not be for a very long time. So that's about it. Anyways, guys, I still bought the fake deal, maybe saved $5. We all have been there, Leah, and we will all continue to go there in our darkest of hours.
Some people says $5 is $5.
$20 is $20 now with the cost of inflation. But hey, it said the arrival date December 22nd, so that's another plus. Hey, the arrival date said it was 2025, so what are you going to do? Anyways, listen up, everybody. We are closing. It's closing time here at This Uncanny Earth Studios, so get out. You don't have to go home, but you cannot stay here. As always, I am your business analyst, Robert Solomon, because I'm going to flaunt it. That is my co-host,
Doom
Craig.
and gloom.
That is my co-host, Spider R. Househead. That's his his whatever would have you, his pseudonym, if you will. Anyways, why be boring when you can be uncanny? Make sure you treat retail employees well this holiday season, because if you don't, you're getting a smack from one of us. Anyways, why be boring when you can be uncanny? We'll see you. He will see him next week. You won't see me. Peace. Chuck the deuce. I'm out.